In a week of low game totals, we have the lowest game total on Thursday Night Football. This game has a line of just 37 points tonight. Titans, Steelers, doesn't sound like a very exciting game. We don't have to care about that for DFS, though. You can find good lineups even in low scoring games. I'll try to find some of those here. I'm going to take a look at the Stokastic NFL DFS lineup generator. In this video, I'm just going to be looking at DraftKings lineups specifically. So if you're looking for FanDuel lineups, that's going to be another video. For this one, just looking at DraftKings lineups in the lineup generator. If you haven't already checked out the lineup generator, you can do so. The link is in the description of this video. It's just $14.95 per week, and every single lineup you get in the lineup generator is going to be a long-term profitable lineup. These have all been run through the Stokastic Sims. Any long-term negative EV lineups have been thrown out. Only the good lineups remain. So check it out. The link is in the description. Again, it's just $14.95 per week. I think it is the best value product in the entire industry. Extremely powerful to have only plus EV lineups coming from the Stokastic Sims for just $14.95 per week. And that includes all DraftKings and FanDuel, the main slates, the primetime showdown slates. All of that is included in that $14.95 price. We're going to take a look here at some DraftKings showdown lineups for tonight. And something that I've been doing a little bit differently lately. I started earlier in the year, I was looking at just contrarian lineups. I've gotten to the point now where I think I can find actual better lineups in the chalky lineup section. You need to vet them a little bit more, look a little bit closer at the lineups to make sure that you're not finding lineups that are going to be duplicated a ton. But even in the chalky lineups, you can find some lineups that look like they probably won't be duplicated a ton. They, of course, are going to have higher overall ownership, but still relatively unique lineups and generally going to be using the better players. And this is for all of my analysis here, by the way, is just for the largest field GPPs. I'm looking for lineups that are going to be unique or unique-ish in large field GPPs. So a lot of this analysis would not apply to smaller field GPPs. All right, we're going to take a look at some chalky lineups here. For showdown slates in the lineup generator, you can specify your game script. So if you want to say both teams go over their total, that's this top one. Both teams go under this bottom one. One or the other team going over while the other goes under. That's these middle options. So you have a lot of different projection options that you can go with here. I'm just going to use standard projections. All right, first lineup we look at. See, this is a chalky lineup using 125% total ownership. We don't have any extremely low owned plays, and yet we're leaving $1,800 on the table. So probably not going to be duped a ton anyway, despite using a lot of the chalkier pieces in this game. Now, looking at it from a construction standpoint, my biggest concern is always I don't want to have naked quarterbacks who don't have much rushing upside just because of the scoring dynamics, the receiver outscoring the quarterback on every passing play. In this case, we don't have any quarterbacks to worry about. We've got Derrick Henry in the captain spot, DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks also represented from the Titans. And then on the Steelers, we've got Allen Robinson, Jalen Warren, and Najee Harris, leaving 800 on the table. I like this lineup quite a bit. I think this is definitely a lineup that could win, and I don't think it's going to be duped a ton. So I love this lineup right away in the chalky bucket. Here's one. I'm going to try to find 3 lineups that I would play in a large field GPP. Second lineup, not one that I'm going to play. Again, all of these lineups are plus EV. I am nitpicking here. This lineup just looks to me like a lineup that is going to be duplicated quite a bit because it has, it's using the full $50,000 salary cap. It's even higher owned than the last one. The last one was at 125% total ownership. This one's at 138%. Projects well, of course, but doesn't project all that different from the last lineup. And this one, because it's using the full salary cap, because of the construction, we've got DeAndre Hopkins with Will Levis in there, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Titans defense, Chris Moore. Just looks like a lineup that is going to be duped more, even though it does have the lowest owned player of these two lineups in Chris Moore. So I actually would not use this lineup for large field GPP personally. Personal preference, I'm trying to avoid dupes. Of course, you wouldn't get these lineups in the lineup generator if they were not long-term profitable. So you could play it, but I'm not going to play this one. All right, now we have a lineup leaving 3,200 on the table. We've got Titans defense in the captain spot at just 4.6% projected ownership. We've got Derrick Henry in there, Will Levis with Treylon Burks. So we got the correlation piece there. And then we have Jalen Warren and George Pickens from the Steelers. I like this lineup quite a bit. Projects better. I think this is our best projected lineup so far. Also has the highest total ownership so far. However, using the low-owned Titans captain. And if I'm using the Titans in the captain spot, given that you're generally using them to find some salary relief, I'm always leaving a lot of salary on the table when I use a kicker or a defense in the captain spot, because I don't want to be funneled to the same lineup constructions as everybody else who uses the defense in the captain spot. So this one, because I'm leaving 3,200 on the table, that's totally fine. I like this lineup. This looks like another lineup that has a good shot at winning here. and won't be duped a ton. So that's two lineups that I really like so far. All right, third lineup, once again, leaving 1,800 on the table. We've got DeAndre Hopkins in the captain spot with Will Levis. Love that. And no other Titans. That works out because, DeAndre Hopkins to be the highest scoring captain, probably going to need some volume, probably going to need a lot of the target share for the Titans. So it makes sense to have him in the captain spot without any other Titans in there and just the quarterback who's throwing him the ball. Makes sense because DeAndre Hopkins outscoring Will Levis on every passing play. And then we have the four-man Steelers here with Darnell Washington, the rookie tight end, George Pickens, Najee Harris, and Steelers defense. Another little way to get contrarian, having the Titan stack against the opposing defense, but there are a lot of ways for that to work out. So another lineup that I like quite a bit. So yeah, in these chalky buckets, I'm actually finding more lineups that I like a lot than I was finding in the contrarian buckets. So there you have it. 3 lineups that I really like. Now I'm just going to go through and take a look at our total exposures after I've saved all the lineups it lets me. All right. So after saving all of those lineups, I have my highest exposure is 42% George Pickens. And we have a lot of it. Nobody, I guess we do have a couple pretty expensive options, but some of our best projected plays on the slate are relatively inexpensive. You can see that at the top here. George Pickens at 8.8K, getting 42%. Najee Harris, 7.2K, 40%. Will Levis, just 9.6K, getting to 38%. Steelers defense, that's a little bit of a surprise. 5.6K. So it's an expensive defense, but we're getting to 38% there. Of course, we've got Hopkins in there at 11.2. So he is really expensive. We're still getting a 35%. Chikakonkwo, 4.2 is his salary. 35% we're getting to. Kenny Pickett, also just 9.2K. Jalen Warren, Derrick Henry, not a ton of huge surprise. The biggest surprise to me is, I think, Steelers defense in there. And actually, DeAndre Hopkins, a little bit of surprise just given how expensive he is. But we do have so many value options. It's not that difficult to get to Hopkins and Derrick Henry. Looks like a nice, mix of different players across our lineups here. So as I said, in this video, I'm just doing DraftKings. I'll make another video looking at some FanDuel lineups. So look for that if you are interested. Hit the like button on this video if you haven't already done so. Hit the notification button so you can get alerts when our shows go live. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers here on the Stokastic channel. Getting pretty close. So any subscriptions help us out. We really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Good luck tonight.